This is Comic Picks by the Glick.
Hey, and I'm your host, Jason Glick.
How are you doing, Jason Glick?
I'm doing fine, John Murphy. How are you doing?
Well, I could be better. But anyway, I could enjoy more of my 3-day. What's going on with you?
Oh, yeah, it's like I would have liked if we just had a little, like 3 more days off work after all, too. But still, it's like I'm soldiering on as always. And this time the soldiering takes me to one of the regular crossover topic of this podcast, and that's crossovers, especially the ones between Marvel and DC. Because this time I'm here to talk about Marvel's big crossover event from the last year, and that's Fear Itself, which is finally slowly trickling into paperback form now.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, Fear Itself it got some not really decent word of mouth. I mean, it was basically all people get as one of the lesser Marvel crossovers of year past. I mean, in the sense of a lot of these things do kind of turn out to be it's always a case of, hey, this is a big Marvel event. Hey, it's going to change things forever. And by the end, it's always like, it's like we get some changes, but it's like it still kind of sucked anyway. Now, the only ones who really escaped that from years past are World War Hulk, which is a great updating of the everyone in the Marvel Universe fights the Hulk type story, and also Siege, which basically serves as a capper to a years long cycle of stories that began with with Brian Bendis's New Avengers and House of M, and wrapped up there. Pierce was the first crossover to pop up after that, and it comes from Matt Fraction and Stuart Immonen. Now, regular readers of the blog portion of this site will know that I love Immonen to death, from his work on Next Wave to New Avengers. It's about everything he's done for Marvel in the last several years. It's like he's a fantastic superhero artist. He brings a lot of energy, a lot of excitement. It's like to just about anything he does. And it's like, so the fact that he's that he provided the art for this series, I mean, I knew this was going to look good. Now, Matt Fraction, on the other hand, well, it's like Fraction's kind of a mixed bag. It's like I've liked some of the stuff he's done over the years. I mean, he's done a good job handling Tony Stark in The Invincible Iron Man. The most recent story arc, The Unfixable, Excluded, which is still in the running for worst comic book story I've read so far this year. But he's also done good stuff with his own creator-owned series, Casanova, which is just a great stream of consciousness, series of rapid-fire ideas that teams him with artists Gabriel Ba and Fabio Moon. Great stuff. It's like best example of how to do style over substance, in my opinion. He's also done Punisher Warzone, which it's like kind of suffered from the sense that basically kind of tried to find a middle ground between Garth Ennis's funny Punisher stories and his serious Punisher stories, and kind of ended up with something that was kind of deeply meh more than anything else. And also, but he's also been writing Thor for a little while now. Now he's written some good out of continuity Thor stories in the Thor Ages of Thunder collection, which I do recommend. But his in continuity stuff, such as the World Eaters and the Galacticide, has been slow, turgid, boring affairs that I couldn't really care for. If nothing else, Fear Itself proves that Fraction can write a Thor story in continuity that actually has some real oomph and excitement to it. Now, the premise is that the Red Skull's daughter Sin has uncovered one of her daddy's old schemes from World War II, one of his real failures, and apparently but it's actually now going to finally bear fruition after all these years. Turns out that there's this hammer that dropped to the ground back in World War II, and it turns out it's not just any hammer; it's the hammer of the Serpent. A mysterious figure from Asgardian lore transforms Sin into Scotty. It's like one of his, his daughter. Now the opening is written by Ed Brubaker, and that continues. And I've been running more cold on his Captain America run over the years. I will say that regardless of how his run wraps up, I will be finally glad to see the end of end of stories where he has, Skull's got this plan. Skull's got this stuff he's been planning since World War II. It's like, and here's a story to show you how he was setting it up back in the day, kind of story, which is what the prologue effectively is. Nice art by Scott Eaton, though. But the main story basically has Sin finally making good on one of her dad's plans, awakening the serpent, who we're told is the Asgardian god of fear, and he's going to use the fear from our world to try and take it over and finally get revenge on his brother Odin for sealing him away all these years ago. So far so good. But the thing is, the execution is also kind of confused and imprecise. We start out with Steve Rogers and Sharon Carter trying to manage a mob in New York who are arguing over the whole building a mosque at Ground Zero issue, and from there it's we don't really get a whole lot of sense. That's probably the volume's biggest failing. We don't get a whole lot of sense of the little guys. The sense that the serpent is actually spreading fear throughout the world. I mean, we're told that he's doing this. We see new snippets from here and there throughout the story, but the focus is kept squarely on the heroes and we don't get a sense of the world they're trying to save. I mean, yeah, you could argue that, hey, it's the Marvel Universe. Of course it's going to be there next month. They got comics to sell after all. Anyway, but still, I mean, there's no real sense of drama or a feeling that, the heroes are kind of fucked right now, like we got with, say, Blackest Night in the DC Universe. The theory itself, though, I mean, as it goes on, it's we've got what can I say? It does feel more like we're doing Fraction has a bunch of killer moments planned more than anything else. And yes, we've got Thor and Odin duking it out at the beginning. We've got various heroes and villains from the Marvel Universe turned into avatars of the serpent with his hammers as the worthy. Thor, Thor and Hulk beating the crap out of each other. It's when the Hulk has been turned into one of the worthy things like that. It's the death of Bucky Barnes. Now I would say saying that Bucky Barnes dies in this volume isn't a spoiler because he's got his own series now on the Winter Soldier. So obviously everyone knows that he survived. And if you're sad that I spoiled it for you, well, it's I don't know, my bad, but still it's I'm not it's not really that big a deal because people die all the time. And this one just kind of feels oh, hey, how villains keep winning in Ed Brubaker's Captain America comics? Well, hey, this is just another one of those moments. Anyway, we got we also got Tony Stark giving up his sobriety in a moment that should have been holy crap, I can't believe he'd do that. But it just happens with it just thrust upon us with this immediacy, hey, Odin, I'm going to meet with you, and hey, in order to get you to me, I'm going to sacrifice the one thing that means the most to me in the world, my sobriety. Look. Oh yeah, there we go. So I mean, that's kind of how the scene plays out as it is, and then Stark uses this to get to get access to Odin's forge and make special weapons that will give our heroes the edge to fight the worthy, and the whole fracas just winds up being this huge giant toyetic brouhaha. And in the end, the serpent is defeated. Thor is struck down, but he's even less dead than Bucky Barnes is. And we're just kind of things are back to normal as far as Marvel Universe goes. So, I mean, it's got energy. It's energy, some wit, and some nice fight scenes. But to be honest, I think if a lesser artist than Stuart Immonen was tackling this, then this series probably would have been just a huge mess, and I would be far less kind to it than than whatever faint praise I'm damning it with right now. So I mean, yeah, it's like even for someone who likes to follow the narrative of the Marvel Universe as I do, I gotta admit, it's like Fear itself, generally deeply skippable. All you need to know is that it's like Odin's brother Odin's brother shows up, causes fear, gets everyone to fight, is defeated, and then Odin seals off Asgard. Stuff happens. The end. Anyway, it's like I bought this because I wanted to see if I get a podcast out of it, and I did. Everyone else, meh. But that being said, because it's being a giant crossover, this means it also crosses over into a lot of other series that I read. So I'm still waiting on the softcover version editions of Iron Man and Uncanny X-Men, which is annoying because the first volume of Kieron Gillen's new relaunched Uncanny X-Men, which followed Fear itself, is coming out next week. But the softcover edition of Fear itself, tie-in issues aren't, which annoys the living hell out of me, but I think I'll manage. Anyway, but the ones I have right now are Avengers, Fear Itself, by Brian Michael Bendis, John Romita Jr., Chris Bacalo, and Mike Deodato. This volume collects the tie-in issues from both Avengers and New Avengers. And throughout all the 8 issues collected here, Bendis tries something that is, for lack of a better term, rather counterintuitive to a crossover. Every story in here is framed as a kind of oral history of the Avengers. So basically, you've got all these these nice 12-panel grids where you get Hawkeye, Captain America, Thor, Spider-Man. It's like Wasp, the new Captain, the new Marvel boy or the Protector, Novar. Anyway, it's like Spider-Man, Wolverine. All these Avengers from ages and years past, just talking up, the history of Marvel, the history of their times with the Marvel Universe, and all this, however, is focused around the events of Fear itself. Now, it's like overall, these stories he's got just don't he's not really telling like a solo arc within Fear itself. He's just doing little stories tied within the margins, and for the most part, the Avengers issues are kind of really feel really inconsequential because it's just you get stories where we've got everyone meeting up around in Asgard just before Tony Stark unveils his plan to rebuild it. And main thread to keep in mind with Avengers is that he's now setting up a love triangle between Spider-Woman and Hawkeye, and Hawkeye's ex-wife Mockingbird. But it is kind of interesting that he at least mentions a thematic tie-in with these Avengers issues, in the sense that we've got all these stories about people standing up to things that people should fear. It's and trying to overcome them. This comes into play with the second issue, and you got the Red Hulk tackling a worthy version of the Thing. Now, I just don't know why the hell they made the Thing one of the worthies. And since you want to make this the bad guys, genuine bad guys, why make the Thing one of the bad guys? I mean, he's lovable. He's the ever-loving blue-eyed Thing. Why do this to him? Even when he says "Oh, I've got this coming," it's after Thor kicks his ass in the main crossover, you don't believe it because he's the Thing. He's likable. But anyway, it's you got Red Hulk standing up to the Thing. You've got Spider-Woman, the Protector, and Hawkeye standing up to the Hulk in South America. Captain America trying to track down Sin and coming face to face with some of his old Nazi antagonists, and Hawkeye, Spider-Woman, and Miss Marvel taking the fight directly to Sin in the final issue. These particular issues are just kind of meh. It's Bendis is just telling stories in the margin. Well, I can appreciate the fact that he's, making a nice thematic connection with this, with these issues. It's not. It's like I said, it doesn't strike me as anything that's particularly compelling to the crossover. art comes from Chris Bacallo in 2 of the issues, and I love his ultra detailed style. I love how he's able to like cram all these panels on the grid and like give all this detail, especially to the Hulk fight. John Romita Jr. provides art for the other 3, and even though his style isn't nearly as detailed as Bacallo, he still managed to like do some nice big action storytelling, especially between the Hulk and Red Hulk fights. Now, the last 3 issues are from New Avengers. They actually do a better job of continuing the story from the previous arc. We found out that Mockingbird is now better than ever thanks to the experimental super soldier serum that she was struck with in the previous volume. But more interesting though are the last 2 issues, which focus on the enduring cult favorite of the Marvel Universe. That would be Squirrel Girl, and because she's now the nanny for Luke Cage and Jessica Jones's kid, and so we find out that we get further proof that her superpower, isn't her ability to talk to squirrels and utilize their skills. No, her superpower is that she's able to beat the crap out of everyone else in the Marvel Universe. No, because we see that when she gets into a nice little sparring bit with Wolverine, and she hands him his ass. It's like, especially the point where she says, "Yo, Great Lakes Avengers, represent." And then just when Wolverine thinks he's got the drop on her, she whips out her squirrel controlling powers, and that's it right there. So yeah, it's like I like the fact that Bendis recognizes that her special ability is really to beat the crap out of everyone in the Marvel Universe. And even though she may be like a truly irredeemably goofy hero, she's still a hero nonetheless, as we see her risk life and limb to storm through the Red Skull's Nazi Mecca to get to Luke and Jessica's kids to protect him as they go off to fight. So that was a lot of fun. And the final issue though does have this feeling that like Bendis is tackling the fact that what really counts as an Avenger. So because a lot of people have talked about like him adding a Wolverine or Spider-Man, or Luke Cage and Doctor Strange to the Avengers roster. That's not really they're not really Avengers type characters. But Bendis does use his talking heads to make a nice point about hey, it's like no one is really, it's like everyone, well, no, really everyone is kind of like Avengers material, even Daredevil. It's like, as we find out in this issue right here, as he does some fighting in Hell's Kitchen, and also helps show up to save Squirrel Girl and the kid at the same time, and he gets his Avengers membership because of it. So it's nice, but it's like if you're looking, for those of you looking for real continuity, for the salient points in this volume, there's love triangle between Spider-Woman, Hawkeye, and Mockingbird. Daredevil joins the Avengers. Mockingbird now better than ever thanks to the super soldier serum. Spider-Man still doesn't trust Victoria Hand, as he shouldn't. And that's pretty much all you need to know. If you're still buying Bendis' stuff, you'll still find a lot to like here. Otherwise, it's still kind of it's not really an essential read to the crossover or to the crux of the series itself. However, to end things on a high note, there's one series that I've been looking forward to for quite some time due to the near universal acclaim it has received ever since it started. That would be Journey into Mystery. Now, if the title isn't familiar to you, this is Journey into Mystery was Thor's original series. That was the name of his original title, and now and every once in a while Marvel decides to break it out, when they want to give some of the B-list Asgardians their solo title. They did this way back in the day in Days of Heroes Reborn, and now they're giving it over to one of my favorite Marvel writers these days, Kieron Gillen, to tell a story of Kid Loki. Now, more than anything else, I think when you look back on what Fraction's run has achieved, it's people will be probably more thankful for the fact that he turned Loki into a kid more than any of these stories he actually wrote. because in turning Loki into a kid, you've turned the Asgardian God of Mischief, who was essentially one of the bigger villains of the Marvel universe, into this this nice little mischievous little twerp who was like, hey, he was actually a far more likable version of his adult self. I mean, if you wanted to make a likable version of Loki, you can't do it with Loki himself. He's got too much baggage, and that just ain't gonna work. In fact, that's even addressed right here because the whole first issue was basically centered around okay, in the end, it was Loki set up everything for Siege. It's he helped Norman Osborn achieve his power. He helped bring down Asgard, and in the end, he sacrificed himself. But he also managed to get himself taken off the book, so that when he died, he didn't go to Asgard, or he didn't go to Valhalla or Hell. It's he just went off somewhere. He just went off somewhere else. But Thor was still able to bring him to resurrect his spirit in the form of a kid in Fractions, the World Eaters. Now, Gillen addresses all this head on, and he gives this series a real mythological heft that you don't see in most mainstream comics. A lot of comparisons to Neil Gaiman's Sandman were thrown around. It's at the beginning, and I can't say that when you're comparing things to Sandman, that's just kind of asking for trouble right there. But with Journey into Mystery, I can certainly see why they're see why they say that. But even if it's not in the same ballpark, it's still a nice even if it's not on the same level as Sandman, it's still in the same ballpark. Especially seeing in the opening couple of pages where you get the stories of these magpies going journeying through Asgard and the realms beyond to tell a story to Loki, who we find out is he's just being a kid, being a mischief, and he's raising hell on the internet because he's trying to draw pictures of the World Tree to everyone. They're calling him a troll, as Thor points out, hey, you're half giant, and Loki goes, I know. So it's you got a lot of funny exchanges like that, and also lots of nice little weird mythological stuff as Loki tries to find out where the key from the exploding magpie takes him. And then we find out that he eventually winds up embroiled in a scheme from his adult self. Just thinking about hey, it's why did you do this? So, and found out that Loki, older Loki, figured, hey, I have become predictable in my chaosness, I become predictable in my unpredictability. So and I would rather die than not change. So now it's here I am. It's and here I am, and here you are. And now I'm going to raise all sorts of mischief, whether through my own plans. Now what's great about this first issue is that it still reads as a great story, even without the tie-ins to Fear itself. So I guess reading the main crossover will give you some context for what's going on, but a lot of the stuff that Loki does right here, it's still enjoyable independently of the crossover. But it's also a great display of cleverness. It's on the part of the character as he matches wits with the hell. Let's see, with the hell. What is this thing called again? It's the Hell Wolf. It's and also trying to talk down both Mephisto and and Hela from War in Hell after the Serpent tries to enlist Hela in his cause, and also getting Surtur, the Norse god of fire and bringer of Ragnarok. It's getting his shadow of his sword for his own purposes. I love the focus on finding clever solutions to problems that Loki has, and and Gillen's dialogue is a real joy to read. I can see why the series has gotten the thing it has, and also the first 5 issues are penciled by Doug Braithwaite, who's worked lot with Alex Ross over the years, and illustrated a really great version of a really great story arc from Garth Ennis's Punisher, Mother Russia. He's got a style that looks like it was carved. Looks like he's carving his characters right out of stone. It's like, and that works really well with the mythological characters on display here. So you got great art, great writing, and even though the volume ends on an ostensible cliffhanger, it's like the next one is coming out next month, and I can't wait to read it. So, it's like, I don't want to say that, hey, Crossover is great if because it just brought Journey into Mystery, it's like into it, but well, that's the kind of narrative we're faced with right now. But I don't know, it's like, we'll see how things go. Watch the blog for my thoughts on it's like Invincible Iron Man and Uncanny X-Men once they come out in paperback, which hopefully should be within the next couple weeks or month.
Hopefully.
What was that?
You said hope. You meant hopefully, right?
Yeah, it's like I could go back and check the solicitations, but that's too much work.
I got you there. So, do you have any idea of what's on tap for next week?
Oh yes, we are going back to a manga land for one of my what am I trying to say? Well, it's like one of the most series that I and my friends most identified with, and that would be Kiyo Shimoku's Genshiken.
Genshiken. All right.
Yeah.
A great one.
Oh yes, the first one of the second series just arrived in the mail today, and I will be digging into that, and as well as rereading the previous nine volumes. So I will say that unless something has gone horribly wrong, expect the next podcast to be a total love fest as far as how much I appreciate this series.
Okay, we'll catch you next time on Comic Picks by the Glick.
Laters.